This stream contains fast flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy or other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised. 4 teams remain in the competition, and 2 of them will be punching their tickets for Master Shanghai today. Hello and welcome to the VCT Americas mid-season playoffs. We're coming at you live from the Riot Games Arena in Los Angeles, California. Of course, I'm Golden Boy here at the desk with one of the most charismatic, insightful, and dashingly handsome analysts to ever grace this desk. Of course, I'm talking about Doug. Doug, you're here today.
You handled that way better than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, listen.
The point was to kind of put you on the spot.
Not at all.
Heat up the seat a little bit, but unfortunately, you're too much of a professional.
You can't
you're
do
too
that.
good at this job.
You can't do
We've
that.
We've got to fire him.
It's crazy to think. You know, I won an award for this one time. It's fraudulent, but I did win it, you know. So in any case, though, let's go ahead and talk about what happened on this stage yesterday, because we had back-to-back elimination matches, and we started off with a pretty interesting one. We had G2 versus Cloud9. Now, fellas, I mean, baby, I'll tell you what. Coming into this, I felt like Cloud9 stocks very high. G2 kind of needing still to figure it out. Instead, we got a completely different picture.
Yeah, something in my soul just told me. I was like, yo, G2's going to win this.
Yeah?
And they're going to win it in fashion, and that they did. And Icy looked great for the first time in probably quite a bit of time. I mean, like
since his time on the team,
Definitely his best match so far.
Yeah, and I spoke a lot about Scrim Icy, and I know we talk a lot about Scrim Oxy, but Icy stepped it up big time, and he actually played how he does in scrims. And I had the pleasure of playing against him before in the offseason, and I knew what he was.
You knew it was coming.
So I'm happy it happened, and at the right time, too, in playoff time.
Well, I think someone else who popped off at just the right time was Cryo. We saw him on screen.
Hell yeah.
Also popped off as 100 Thieves took down Loud. And I think in a lot of ways, the conversation was very similar to G2 Cloud9. Loud looks like they're peaking. Their last performance on the stage was nuts. And we thought, okay, this project is working. They've got to figure it out. But 100 Thieves, can they compete at that level? And they just rinsed Loud. Loud looked like the shell of the team that we saw the previous week and looked more like week 1, week 2 Loud.
And similarly with both teams too, both IGLs, Valen and Boostio, were calling really good games. Boostio was working Sadhawk on bind. 100 Thieves on that map are just elite. I mean, their round openings, they're like early round set plays with utility. Boostio, that one fake he called, it was just
on the fly, too.
Nice from
on the fly fakes. I mean, you love to see it. These teams are definitely popping off at the right time here. And that, of course, brings us to our current bracket and where we are right now. If you missed the matches yesterday, shocking that you're here, but we're glad you're here with us. We got Crew versus G2. Leviathan will then take on 100 Thieves. That, of course, will be the order of matches that we are treated to here today. We're going to see Crew take the stage against the G2 boys, and then Leviathan get that final opportunity against 100 Thieves. Now, remember, the winner of these games will qualify for Master Shanghai. So this is a massive matchup here between both of these teams. Now let's go ahead and take a gander, though, at the standings and where we are right now, because it's important to note as well that when you get a win in the playoffs, you nab yourself a nice little cheeky championship point. And that's something, Doug, you know?
You know, at the beginning of the season, we thought, okay, 3 points, whatever. How much does it really amount to? But as we get later and later into the season, we start to see the picture kind of shake out, and you realize there's a ton of value. When you think about the top 3 teams in Alpha, they're all separated by 1 point.
Yeah. Right. And let's not forget, too, that you win, you get 3 out of this.
Yeah, just for qualifying.
So, I mean, I'm looking there, and I'm seeing Sentinel's lead of 9 points slowly but surely start to dwindle away.
That thing disappeared.
It's true. It's true. It's actually quite alarming here. But now, of course, our number 1 seeds, you got Crew and Leviathan. Now, they went head-to-head on this very stage last week. Let's actually go ahead and take a listen to their comms in this version of Open Mic.
Because Icebox has his knives online here, we're just going to be popping straight into this round.
I'm inside journey. Yeah, inside journey.
Voltea. No medio conmigo. Me tiene para atrás. Mira.
Va a estar medio. No, que tengo operator.
Espera, izquierda.
Viper ults. Yeah, Viper ult. Yeah. Wait for Viper ult. I break it. I have flash for backside, guys. Yeah.
Tranqui.
Quebra la cámara.
Cable ducto.
Esperando un lurker medio.
When do you have... I can flash for you or dart for you.
Flash dart now.
Cannot. Looking blind. 3 seconds.
Todo el humo.
Buena.
Uno medio, uno doble, escuché.
Ya, yo lo marco. Es un vato que toca Phantom. Toco pipa, vai.
Por ahí atrás.
Va.
Protecting King, guys. They main flank. Okay. 100 Viper.
Main.
¡Saca, hermano! ¡Vamos, weón!
Those lead players getting into sight, they're immediately surrounded on all sides and now forced onto a bad buy.
Voy a acercarme mejor a ver el de medio.
Si me estoy en la cámara, vete, va a abrir.
Puedo
Fe.
bañar de vuelta al lado, boludo.
Lo que ya te merece, va a abrir. Fe.
Voy a hacer eso.
Y ese weón.
Caio acá.
I'm ready, boys. Ready, last in 3, 2, 1. Waiting for the wall. Let's go left side or right
I
side?
have nice again.
Right.
Watch out dark. Yeah, dart. Wait for dart. One yellow. We can flash our yellow. Yeah.
Left side.
3, 2, 1.
I can't.
I'm flank forever.
Go through.
I'm mine.
Two.
Whoa, watch out.
There's.
They're fighting.
Cuidado, ducto.
Oso, buena. Lo tomo.
Habrá una izquierda todos juntos, vamos.
Dale, yo miro derecha.
No,
En uno, Cypher.
Le pegué 120 al Cayo.
Uno de foul.
Pilar,
Le tiro veneno.
120
Me abro
al
derecha.
Cayo.
I got out. I'm getting all the way out.
Dropping wall, watch out. Dropping wall.
We're just swinging. They're swinging, guys. Bang.
You could defuse some safe.
They got the
maybe.
fields.
Yeah, can defuse some safe. Tengo una bala, weón.
Izquierda y derecha.
Tengo una bala.
Tranqui.
Abierto. Derecha.
120. Nice! Let's go.
Before we get into today's action, we're going to play a quick game. Let's head into the night market. Now, here's how it is going to work. Wyatt and Baby Bay have 1,200 credits to spend on their super teams that they will be assembling with this pool of players from the teams that are remaining in the competition. Now, each player has different prices based on stats rankings, but if you want to have some fun with it, go nuts. Now, we're going to do a simple rock, paper, scissors here. All right? So, okay, enough with you're not a bull. You're playing rock, paper, scissors. Come over here and do it. You know the rules. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. All right, here we go.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Oh, Baby Bay threw rock. He always throws rock. It's crazy like that. Okay, so Baby Bay, you are going to go first. And by the way, just want to let everyone know, Twitch chat, you guys can vote for the best team. So spam Wyatt, spam Baby Bay in the chat for who you think is better.
Yoink of my life. Ridiculous.
$100
It's
for Boostio?
ridiculous that
Yeah,
Boostio
that
is
is a crime.
100. This is based on stats.
This is the best McChicken deal ever.
There's a lot on the line. Boom. A lot on the line.
My guy went to the dollar man.
Yo, for real,
In
though.
that case, he got gold.
This is so messed up. I mean, I'm going to go big. Awesome.
Oh, right out of the
for
gate.
5.
Okay.
But that being said, then you just you have so many options.
That doesn't leave you with a lot of money left, man.
I got to get a heavy hitter when he's
It's
got.
true.
I don't know. I feel like he's got the deal, the steal.
All right, hurry up.
But I got a better one right here. Who's actually going to win?
Know, which is just,
Cryo, okay.
I'm not tall enough for this game, man. What?
I'm glad I'm not playing.
That was a tall ass.
what do we got?
Okay,
Got
so
Cryo. I'm full 100 Thieves all the way right now.
600 spent, 600 left. You have 500, 700 remaining. Wyatt.
You're about to be broke real
I don't
fast,
see
brother.
tens anywhere.
Yeah, you see tens in it. Okay, all right.
I'm gonna have to go.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna have to
You're
go
gonna have to hurry
200.
up, okay?
I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to go with Klaus. I really. Where the hell
Why
is
is
him
Doug-
coming from?
why is Doug throwing things?
Doug is off. I'm going with Klaus. I'm impressed with his
Okay.
IGLing. He's been fragging
Okay.
well. I'm gonna go with Klaus.
I like
need
this.
a good IGL.
All right, Baby Bay, your turn. What do you got?
I'm going with myself.
He's going with
my
himself.
twin.
Yeah, I mean,
You're about to be dead broke.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Two
He's got some
IGLs.
heavy
You
hitters,
thought
though.
Boosty was IGLing. It's actually King. Boosty's unleashed
You
on
do
this
know
roster.
that you only have
There's
200
only
bucks remaining.
200 left.
Yes.
And I have a
think he
decent
knew that
amount.
when he
What do I
made
have,
the pick?
700 to play with.
And,
I
okay.
know what I'm doing.
I actually know exactly what you're doing, and you can troll him, Wyatt, by removing what.
I'm not going to do that.
You're not gonna do that.
You gonna give me a
troll him.
chance?
You're
I'm
gonna
going to
be-
give him a shot.
It doesn't matter. I got
But
Boostio. We win 45s anyway, brother.
All right, come on, Wyatt. I'm outside. Let's go.
All right, I need a good initiative.
Come on, yeah.
You know what? I'm
just gonna hit him.
No,
Come on,
I'm
come
going. No, dude, these stickers.
Come
For
on,
the love of
hurry
God.
up. Just
I'm going with
grab
Mizzino. I'm making the LATAM super team. That's my
Okay.
new strategy.
Okay, so Mizzino's
going
on the
all
lineup
Latin.
there. So we
I
got
have
Klaus,
$200
Mizzino,
left.
Icebox. You have $200 left.
200.
Baby Bay, what are you going for? The economy is struggling right now.
I know what I need.
Has hit you at an all-time high.
I know what I need to bring this all together.
Wait.
I need a teacher, someone that can just be a professor to the squad. I'm taking Jonah, the professor.
Taking Jonah. Do you?
Boom!
Do you
I got Boostio. I don't need 5 players.
Wait, so you're just going
We win
with
4v5s all the time, brother.
the math ain't mathing,
the math
brother.
is not mathing.
What are you talking about? I don't need a 5th. That's how confident I am in my roster.
No, all right. Hold on. Listen, we're sticking to the plan. I'm going to have
give you
5
6 players.
and they're all going to be 6 players.
You can use the entire budget. Go
We'll
ahead.
get 5 players in GB. You'll be in on the team.
Yeah, let's
You'll be
go.
in.
Pop off. It's
You'll
my
be the
time to
6.
shine. All right.
I think I win this matchup, man.
I think we needed more money.
You need one more. You need one
take
more.
out a loan.
I mean, yeah, one more, another LATAM player. Come. One more.
Famously
One
LATAM
more
player.
LATAM player.
Famously Latin
Boom.
American player. All right, so we
Still gotta-
basically.
Oh no, you're
I basically
you're
just have
Crew and Leviathan.
I have Crew and Leviathan. I have
And-
a LATAM super team.
And you have 2
Much like they
IGLs
actually
and
have.
4 players. But you have Cryo, which can actually account for 2 of their own. So.
I mean, if you count me and him both as brothers going on the stage, this is a nasty team.
That's not how it works.
Would
You
you
know,
so- would you
just
play
real quick,
Jet or
roll-wise,
Cryo?
I got King as IGL.
Doug, can you
I got
just
Cryo as Sentinel.
Just throw.
Wait,
Just throw.
I got Cryo as
Just keep
wait,
going. Just
wait.
keep
Cryo
going.
as Sentinel, Boostio as Duelist, and I got Jonah P.
You're trash. Today, make sure you guys let us know in the chat who you think won this one. But today, Cruz is shot at returning to the global stage. Elizabeth Smith Klaus, I got to get some order over here. Liz, please save us. Oh, my word.
Went for the headshot. Was trying to get 150 off that.
All right, I'm gonna pull Klaus over for a second while Shy attempts to punch a wall. Hi guys. Hi guys. Hi, Visa. Hi, bye-bye. Fist bump, anyone? Yeah, thank you. Okay. So there's one LATAM team that is guaranteed to qualify for Shanghai. What would it mean to you and the rest of crew if that was crew?
Creo que, o sea, obviamente muy ansiosos por también llegar a donde estamos y porque somos candidatos también a ganar el torneo y también hacer un buen torneo en Shanghái, así que nada, ansiosos en eso y orgullosos por donde estamos y siento que estamos muy confiantes para ganar hoy y tener ese cupo también.
We're very anxious and excited for the possibility, but also very proud of where we are and all the process that we made and all the matches that we want to be here. And it would mean a lot to just get to that instance.
We're bringing it home, homies. Best of luck.
Oh boy, lots have transpired. I still don't understand how you thought that you were going to get away with 4 players.
Man, Twitch chat just don't see it, man. They don't see the vision, bro. They just don't see the vision of the 4v5 sauce, man.
Yeah, if you're in perpetual state of 4v5, how could you possibly lose?
I mean, they're 1-0 in series where they had to play 4v5.
Is this why FaZe fell apart? Yes. Is this the issue?
Yes, it was 4v5. It was 4v5.
Oh, good Lord. All right, well, let's go ahead and move on, though. Talk about this matchup. Save Baby Bay's career. Crew versus G2, of course. This is going to be a rematch, by the way. This is going to be a rematch. And what is going to be really fascinating here between these 2 teams is I feel like both squads, they're different than what they were when they first squared off against one another. And now we're kind of getting the better versions of both teams, I think, in this matchup.
Yeah, I don't even have those games in my mind going into this at all, honestly.
Yeah.
So much has changed. G2 with both teams with a roster move that made significant differences across the board for what all the rest of the players are doing. In the case of G2, obviously they have, Leaf on Sentinel, and the man that you're seeing on the right there, Heat, coming into this team. No one would have thought that he would have been the missing link to make Crew this consistent machine that they've become, but he is. It's surprising. No one would have expected that, but he's just fit in so perfectly to the squad.
Yeah, it has been impressive to see Heat become that player for this team when he the duelist. He was the guy previously, right?
Yeah. And I think there were a lot of questions about how he would integrate with another team. But I think there's been so much that he's been able to alleviate off of Kesnit's shoulders. He's able to play a lot more comfortably. He's able to play a lot more loosely. And Heat's supporting there. Yes, he's in a supporting role, but I think the value that he offers is infinitely more than what you would expect in any other player who's in that position.
Couldn't agree more, and that's part of the reason why heading into stage 1, you would have expected Sentinels to be in this position as the #1 seed. Maybe even NRG, a little super team. Nope, didn't happen. Instead, it's the super team of Crew that managed to do it, and I think that has just been so freaking cool. Genuinely, to see a team go from the bottom of the bottom to the top of the top, that, Wyatt, has to feel like such an accomplishment for these 5 guys.
Absolutely. And aside from the 5, for Coach Adam as well, who started with them at the beginning of last season, was with them for the 0-9, was there for their run at LCQ, which felt like a flash in the pan, which is not something they haven't had in their runs before. Suddenly at an international event, they get a couple crazy upset wins, but it never really went anywhere. And this is the first time that that's actually been the case. And I think Adam should get a lot of credit for that, too. I mean, he's just a very intelligent guy that has a lot of a great perspective on what the team needed to get into this state that he's expressed in interviews. And so I've been super impressed with him over this past year and how he's transformed the squad.
Yeah. Not only him, but they have a performance coach, too, which has helped out quite a bit. And I feel like that's a big key factor in this matchup is who's going to contain their mental the best.
Yeah.
And we've seen that G2 can kind of like go off the deeper end on that side and kind of like just crumble when the pressure is really, really on.
Yeah.
And the emphasis for Crew this year has been making sure the mental's good. And that all started with Kesnit, the main IGL, who, he needed to have an ego for a reason. You can't be a good... sorry, I don't know why I said IGL. You can't be a good duelist without having an ego. But you need to have that balance and also be a good teammate, and I think he did a really good job figuring it out this year.
It was also really interesting to listen to that conversation that they had with Dryad and Liz, where he was talking about how much it would mean to him and how it feels like such a big achievement. And I think in a lot of ways that's true, but I think in other ways it's interesting to listen to them speak because they aren't talking like the best team in Americas.
Yeah.
They aren't talking like the team that has taken Americas by storm and is currently sitting as the #1 seed. They're almost still talking like the team that just kind of went 0-9 and went on a run and like limped their way through things. There's almost like this humility that's still in there that's so heavily ingrained in their DNA, which you only get by going through
when you've been through the ringer. You've been through the ringer, right? And actually, as a matter of fact, that takes us over to a really interesting bit here because we did have Coach Adam who joined us not too long ago to talk about the struggles and climbing with this team. But this was after they clinched that #1 seed. Let's actually go ahead and take a listen.
Yeah, it definitely feels like the team is very disciplined right now, especially Shy. I feel like that's something he really excels at in the game. Is that a focus at all for the team? Was that something you were consciously thinking about in the offseason?
In terms of like over-peaking and stuff like that?
Yeah, stuff like that. Just playing more disciplined, kind of teamwork-oriented in that way.
I'm the kind of coach that I don't fight that much with over-peaking because at the end it's a shooting game. So making a player not to shoot, it's telling a player, hey, don't shoot. It's like telling a runner, don't run.
Yeah, jog,
So the way that we try to approach that is to lead the players to find better situations to over-peak. And not just to peak just because you are crazy, but try to find the right conditions to over-peak.
That just reminded me so much of what Dre was talking about earlier, because as a duelist and as someone who's going to shoot and is going to frag out, you have to have an ego. You have to be willing to go. And I think it's interesting to see, even in the team structure, they're not concerned about, hey, whoa, don't over-peak. Pull the leash back a little bit. No, do it intelligently, preferably. But go ahead and do it. And I think that's why they feel so loose. That's why they feel so comfortable.
How difficult, though, is it to do that? I mean, from your experience, right? Because, like, you're in this position, you're playing Jet, you're playing Raze, you have an opportunity to just go for it. That feels like it's a tall task to ask a player to have to contain themselves in those situations.
I mean, it can go sideways really fast, and that's what we saw in the matchup against Lev. I know it was a really close game, but the blowout map, which was Ascent, I mean, Lev were punishing Kesnit and everybody else that was trying to push aggressively in post plants and etc. So there is a fine line that you have to find, and that can vary from team to team, match to match. It could even be, oh, I woke up and I ate a banana today, I'm locked in. Now I know I can go for
Got that potassium bump.
Sometimes sometimes you don't have that potassium buff, though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's all dependent on how you're feeling, and you have to get a feel for it in the series that you're in, and see if you can get away with certain things. And if you can't, you got to be able to hone it back.
Yeah, you are so right. I completely agree, especially on Ascent in that game against Lev. That was the first time where they were really struggling, and yeah, you were seeing moments where they were reverting back to old ways, which, like, especially Kesnet. Like, there were situations where they were maybe a man down or even like 3-on-3 late in the round, and he would just take some crazy swing through a smoke without a dash, just trying to take a fight because he is back in that mode of, like, I need to be the provider. I need to hunt and gather for this team and get kills, and I'm the only one who can do it, rather than just playing in them a little bit slower in some of those moments in the more cohesive way that they've been mostly playing this season. So if the pressure's on, hopefully those cracks don't begin to show again for them.
Well, I think that we had mentioned him earlier. It's worth bringing it up again. I think part of the reason why that hasn't been the case is because now you have Kesnet with a little bit more help out there with Heat. And, I mean, honestly, everyone in Crew has been stepping it up massively. So it's not just these two guys. But you could definitely see the impact that these two players, Doug, had on this team. Kesnet with his slaying, and also the way that, you know, Heat has become that supporting slayer as well.
The fact that you have two guys on your team that are top 10 in ACS in the best region in the world is crazy, right? Like, the luxury that you have in being able to have that much output map after map, week after week, is honestly what brought them to this point. I also think, yeah, we can talk about their loss last week, but you guys know we've been around competitive stuff long enough to understand that you learn from your losses.
Yeah.
Infinitely.
Probably the best time for them to lose was right at the end there.
Exactly. And you learn from those infinitely more than any win, any blowout win, any close win, whatever, stuff like that. So for a team that's on the up and up in a way we've never seen before, to drop a map going into playoffs, going into what should be a run for Shanghai, going into something really special, this was the time to do it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And it has been impressive 100%. But yesterday, we saw G2 redeem their coupon for a free map 1, thanks to Cloud9. And they took them down into overtime for a 2-0 victory. That brings us over to G2 Esports. This squad, I mean, they finally have found that rhythm. And funny enough, you know, we saw Valen out a little bit in the earlier on. He was saying, we just got to talk to each other more. And it's showing in the gameplay. They're talking to each other way more, and it's working.
Yeah, and going in with the mindset of, you know, this isn't the end of the world. And you don't have to have all this pressure on you going into a match like this, you know? I think Icy was a big deciding factor in this series. We finally saw him comfortable on the stage and really taking this series into his own hands. It was a beauty to watch. I'm happy we got to see it.
Yeah, that boy grew up. And there were rumors about, like, Scrim Icy, and we're like, okay, whatever. Yeah. It's not like Scrim Oxy. He can't pop off the same way. And he didn't. But he certainly put up a performance that we hadn't seen before out of him, and it was right when the team needed it most.
Yeah, and the question is, of course, whether or not they can maintain that consistency. As it was an issue for Crew, it could very well be an issue for G2. But let's actually go ahead and hear from Icy himself, because we have Icy standing by with Elizabeth.
Icy looking good with the shades, and everyone else, hi G2, in the shades. Stoic Secret Service, I love it. All right. Icy, you had an insane, monstrous performance yesterday. How do you feel about going up against Kesnet today?
I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling confident going to the game. I think we just gotta play our game and we'll be good.
All right, best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, you know what? If Icy plays his game like he played yesterday, I think he'll be perfectly fine, because genuinely, this couldn't have come at a better time for G2, fellas. I mean, baby, they needed the pop-off duelist, and they're getting the pop-off duelist. Whether or not he can maintain that form, that's going to be a question we get answered today.
And that's the name of the game for me. It's Icy is the key factor in where the series is going to go. If he can handle the pressure from Heat and Kesnet well enough, the macro game, in my opinion, should be won by G2. The problem here is, how is he going to match up against Kesnet when Kesnet starts winning these individual battles against him, right?
Yeah.
And G2, they've been playing a lot of contact style, and we saw EG play similar style against Crew and get totally mopped because the mechanical talent on Crew, I mean, it feels like when you walk into their crosshair, they're instinct.
Yeah, and to keep it a buck, Icy looked really good, but that was against an Oxy who had probably put up one of the worst performances we've seen all stage.
That's fair, right? But I don't want to take anything away from G2, though. They certainly put them in those positions.
But I think the point I'm trying to get to is...
But you're not wrong.
Icy did his thing against an Oxy that wasn't performing the way we had gotten used to him performing. Now, I'm to ask you guys a question here. What's more likely that we see again? Because I can't fathom a world in where Kesnet is absent the way we saw Cloud9 as a whole struggle yesterday.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
There's no way. I mean, he hasn't had a bet. I think it was the first map against Lev. It was on Ascent.
Yeah.
That was the one where he struggled. But aside from that, I think every other map
he bounced back like that and dropped like 30 or
something. Went insane. So, I mean, definitely. I mean, you're totally right.
Yeah, and that's
hard to believe.
That's where I think, like, as you mentioned, this all kind of falls on Icy. Watching a G2 where Icy's not playing well versus watching a G2 where he is playing well are night and day. It's like the duality of Valorant in a way we've never seen before.
Yeah, and also, I got to say, against C9, G2 owned them in the map pick ban. Like, hard owned them.
Yeah, and they got a coupon.
They did.
They
Not
cashed
only
it in.
the first map curse, but the fact that it was Ascent, or Ascent was second and first was Lotus. I mean, those are just two. You're playing second, the map that Cloud9 have looked the worst on by far the whole season. Yeah. And then Lotus, which has just been so good for G2 the whole season as well. And it was Icy like 3 or 4 rounds in when they were down 4-0. He got that 1v3 clutch that we showed not too long ago, and then everything just turned around from there. Yeah, it was totally
It's like the complexion of the game changed entirely from that point forward.
Yeah, so
and you're so right.
The maps for this will be huge as well because they just had such a big advantage going into that game.
You know what, Wyatt? I'm so glad you said that. Because you know what's coming up? The maps. That's right. Let's go ahead and check in with our coaches. Find out today's map picks. I'm doing things differently, baby. Let's go ahead. Jump in.
Alright, guys, welcome. As you know, Crew is going to have higher seeds. What team would you like?
We are Team A.
All right, Crew's going to be Team A, and GT is going to be Team B. Crew, you're going to have first map ban.
We ban Bind.
Crew ban Bind. G2, what would you like to ban?
We'll ban Sunset.
G2 bans Sunset. And Crew, what map would you like to pick?
Icebox.
Crew picks Icebox. And would you like attack or defense?
Defense.
G2 picks defense. And what map would you like?
We'll pick Ascent.
G2 picks Ascent. And would you like attack or defense?
Defense.
Crew picks defense. And you have 1 map ban.
We ban Split.
Crew bans Split. And G2, you have 1 map ban.
We'll ban Breeze.
G2 ban Breeze. Decider map's going to be Lotus. And Crew, you will have side select.
We attack.
Crew selects attack. All right, boys, best of luck today.
All right, so your map order is going to be Icebox, Ascent, and Lotus, if necessary. All right, we talked about the map picks and bans yesterday and how that benefited G2. I'm kind of getting a little similar vibe here today, but I want to get your takes on it.
Yeah, I would agree. We're watching it kind of unfold, and we're all kind of in agreement that this feels really good for G2 for things to shake out the way they did. Yeah, Bind was off the board right at the beginning, but I think there are still a lot of things leaning in their favor.
Icebox will definitely be interesting because they opted to get rid of it yesterday, I believe, and mostly due to the fact that they got blown out on it the week before by Loud, if I remember correctly. They got like 2 rounds on attack. They couldn't get anything going. And up until that point, it had been their best map. They beat Lev on it. Yeah. So that being back in the pool, we'll see if maybe their confidence, I mean, it seems like their confidence on it was definitely shaken given they got rid of it yesterday. And now they're going to be forced to play it on, against Kesnet where he was playing Reyna and going crazy on whatever teams they were playing earlier on in the season. So interesting there. And then again, they get Ascent against a team that doesn't like Ascent.
I mean, we should just get straight into the predictions.
Go for it.
I have a really hot take.
Okay.
And I wanted to.
You want to go last or you want to go first?
I'm not going to go last. I'll go last.
I think you should go first. I think you should start strong. Say it with your chest. Say it with your chest.
I'm going to say it with my chest.
Say, puff it out. Let them know what's good.
Hear me out.
All right.
I think the first map, it's Icebox, correct? And Crew chose it because, they saw Loud absolutely dismantle G2. I actually think G2 is going to win this map.
Ooh.
And when we go to Ascent, I think that, G2 chose this because Crew looked very mediocre against Lev. I think Crew's going to win that map. Ooh. And then we're going to go to map 3, and I think the mental resilience of Crew is going to take them over the edge. And I have the script.
You have the script. Well, let's see. What did you end up picking? You did pick Crew. Me and Riv and Vansili were the only ones to pick G2. I don't know why. I just felt like G2's on the up and up here. I feel good about it.
They do look really good. But
okay, so we did get some
all
spikes.
in on Crew this season.
You're all in on Crew, so you're saying Crew at the end?
I believe so, but I also believe that if G2 wants to qualify for Shanghai, this is their best chance. Because I think the matchups on the other side of the bracket, when they go to the lowers, I think it's a bit of a mismatch for both.
Did he just say he had a hot take and then he hedged his bet? I have a really hot, controversial take. It could be this team. I think it's going to be this team. But it also.
It was mainly about the 2 maps that they're going to win. That was the main hot take. That each team is going to win on the opposing team's map.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I do agree, though. I think Crew looks really good. I think Kesnit is going to do his thing. I think Heat will as well. And I think a lot are on the shoulders of Icy here. This young kid who's finally starting to come into form against the best team America's probably has to offer. That's a tall task, man.
Yeah, feel the same way, Wyatt, I'm assuming?
Yeah, I'm feeling the same way. I'm going with Crew. Their form is way too hot. All 5 players have had fantastic moments throughout the season individually. They look so confident in each other right now. Gotta go Crew.
All right, well, this is it, folks. Let's get ready for day 2 of the midseason playoffs. You got Crew versus G2, Leviathan versus 100 Thieves. VCT Americas starts ahora.
A ver cómo resuelve. Fabián Usaño que no podría agarrar más sino en los vientos. ¡Siente el body!
Next 3 players of G2. Looks like the plan was red and ready. The race with 3 right clicks.
Jugar contra G2 estaría bueno porque sería el rematch del rematch. Triple rematch.
Against Crew, I feel pretty confident going into this game. We're looking good. I think we're going to make Shanghai.
Still got 2 before they fell, leaving Icy alone. 1 versus 2. Nice one tap. Long range there. Tap save for the clutch. And that's a way to step up here in your important game, Icy.
Creo que ahora somos un equipo totalmente diferente desde cuando jugamos contra ellos.
I think Crew, they made a solid addition with Heat. I think Heat is a really good player. They just do things together, and if you do things together with confidence, that's what makes or breaks certain rounds.
It's allowed Kesnit to creep up a little bit more. He doesn't see the top of his head. There we go. 3 for Kesnit. Now the cooking. Yes, some of that YouTube will come to interrupt, but the blades are coming out, and Kesnit explodes into the game.
Obviously, I want to prove myself as a rookie. It's like all the hard work I've put in, I want to be able to show that on the big stage.
Yo tengo ahí un poco de sangre en los ojos.
Riot Games Arena. Hoy 4 equipos se juegan su clasificación a Masters. Que se sienta el hype por Crew Visa.
Let's do this!
And let's bring out their opponents. Make some noise for G2 Esports!
Can't be called a newcomer. We've been up for several summers, seeking how to step in commerce. If you with us, buy the bundle. Say you should buy the bundle. Barely time to buy the bundle. For this ton of errors rumble. Cause you know we titans in this game, ain't no contest. If we take it to the game, turn a wild west. We ain't faking what I claim, it's a wild threat. No rook, we been a vet. Now check the mindset, by the name of G2. How to take over the world, how we come through. You just follow in the herd, we don't have to. Best forget about what you heard, probably ain't true. This ain't go-to, cause you know it's G2.
A massive matchup with a Shanghai qualification up for grabs. You win here, you're taking a trip to China. You lose, you get one more opportunity, but it's going to get even harder as you get into that lower bracket. This is a matchup that both teams 100% desperately need to walk away with a win here today.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot at stake right now, and there is a loser's bracket, so it's not the end of the world if you lose here, but you want to punch your ticket in as soon as possible.
You want to go in as fast as you possibly can. This is the way to do it.
Yeah, I'm so curious about Icebox, man. Wyatt, you mentioned it earlier. They look good, and then they get rinsed. And Icy was trying to figure out his spot on the team at the beginning of the year, and he was primarily playing Gecko. And kind of how does this shake out? Because I think you're right. This map really does feel like it kind of sets the tone for the rest of the series. And when if they're running the Reyna again, if Kesnit's just going to be doing his thing, eyeing and then just swinging and like doming everybody, how do you counter that? How do you kind of weather that?
G2 were struggling hard against the operator when they were on attack. And that first half, they were down 10-2, and Loud had 10 first kills against them and converted all of them. Yeah. And it was mostly just QCK offing down B main. They could not.
He was taking so much initiative
out of that area,
you know, which I think is a thing that G2 just needs to be a bit more prepared for.
But that's the thing is Kesnet feels like the king of taking initiative. Kesnet like sometimes takes too much initiative and sometimes he overpeaks like we were talking about earlier. So how do you prepare for that? How do you prepare for someone who's just gonna like fight you with reckless abandon and he's gonna get in your face? And well, I hope you win because he's coming at you no matter what.
I think the best answer is they have to have their utility timings down because this was a big flaw that QCK was abusing. I mean, he wasn't getting hit by the eyes. He wasn't getting tagged by drone or whatever it may be.
Right. Yeah.
And he was just able to get away with murder, especially around that B side of the map on the defense, right? So that's going to be the name of the game. And I think G2 will make the changes to have their defaults adjust for that.
Yeah, for sure. I think one of the reasons that QCK was getting away with so much back yellow too is that G2, they don't run a KO. He's never getting knifed. He can take a shot and dash away. And it's going to be the same problem against this Kesnet Reyna. He can get a shot, get a kill, and, you know, dash away. He's not going to ever deal with a knife, deal with a null command, right? So,
yeah,
we're going to have to be really weary about him.
We'll see, of course, Agent Select coming in now, and we're getting that Reyna from Kesnet again, which, you know, it's just great to see that different look get thrown in there as well, right? You know, it kind of removes the thought of the bog standard being the standard here, and it forces the other teams to have to think about how you're going to shut down this guy. Because if he gets that opening and that opportunity, I mean, good Lord, he is just going to run roughshod all over these guys with that Reyna.
Yeah, definitely. I think the Jet maybe is probably marginally better than the Reyna in some situations where you're trying to hit A site, maybe get deep onto the site to scale off the deep flash that's going back, where the Reyna is just going to be slower. You're not going to get the dash in. But the way Kesnet plays it, and with how talented of a rifler he is, I mean, that marginal difference is entirely irrelevant.
Yeah, I wasn't a full believer of the Reyna at the beginning. I too was thinking like, yeah, Jet's probably better, all things considered. But again, I think there's no one that's more feast or famine in the agent pool than Reyna, and it feels like there's nobody who's more feast or famine than Kesnet in America. So, but he just tends to feast all the time. There's very little famine with that guy.
All right, the Gecko gets locked in here for Icy, and now it's time to see if whether or not that game plan is going to come to fruition, right? This is going to be an interesting matchup, without a doubt, and the pressure is most definitely going to be on this G2 lineup here. But we are now ready to jump into the action. Time to find out who is going to be going to Master Shanghai. Let's send it over to your casters. There are a couple of bonkers melons, as I've been told. It's Brennan's Sideshow.
That's a new one. That's some new material right there with the toss. That's a new one right there. Crew versus G2. And this is our first match of playoffs as well. That's going to be defining and deciding a team to go to Shanghai, our second international major event of the year in VCT. It's an exciting one here. And I think this one is between two teams that are honestly kind of sneaky good in terms of different ways. A lot of people attribute the success of, you know, G2 having a really good calling in terms of VALORANT. I think that's very fair. But for Crew as well, you know, a lot of the times we're talking about this team being all brawn, no brain. Sometimes with Kesnet leading the charge, but this is a sneaky good team on their attack sides with the IGLing masterclass that is Klaus sometimes on display. And I think this is going to be a real test for VALORANT in this match, actually, in terms of his IGLing go toe-to-toe with a team like Crew that are just so damn good right now.
Yeah, one of the things to watch out for, especially as we head towards Ascent and Lotus, are those ways that Klaus is going to mess with G2's defense ideas. But G2 have got a 4-player stack over towards A at the pistol round. And Icebox does play a little more straight up. Trent spots a couple.
It's risky. Belt wasn't being held.
I think that's going to keep the stack towards A, though. You see Kesnet, you see Klaus, you're expecting Spike there, and the main duelist. This is coming A.
There's 4 players of G2 ready, stacked, waiting. Look at them. Biding the time, waiting for the explosive nature that is Crew now. Starting to lead it forwards from the alarm bot. Take the contact. Snakebite, all meant for that plant denial, and it does do the job, as was intended, with the high tide ripping away control of the site, with G2 gaining it back in their hands. What's the call now for Crew? Icy's still waiting.
Icy used Wingman there as well, so that's going to make the retake a little more difficult.
There it is. It's a knife and a dizzy to try and set it forwards here, but the wall timing goes up again. Another layer of things. that one in their face. Crew are finding it really difficult to chew through this one and just get any sort of advantage going. Underhanded flash, round the side, round the corner, no connection to it, at least the kills going their way. Or is it G2? Still holding their ground, rooted to the spot, and it's risky. Klaus really pressing forward to that advantage here. Kesnet falling, decayed down to the single digits, double digits now just for Klaus. The top of the plant. Bring around the Rosies. Got two of these players to watch for, but doubled up discipline is the name of the game for G2. It carried them this far, and it carries them to a pistol round win.
Great setup for them. They had the read at the very start of the round. 4 players over towards A. As soon as Trent spots both of them, they can feel very confident that they've got the stack in the right place. And despite cycling the defensive wall multiple times, they never really bought the fact that Crew were going to rotate off. And Klaus loves doing that. He'll pump the brakes in the middle of a round after they've taken some early map control and try to bait the defenders into making a mistake. And instead, G2, they hold firm and get themselves up to a nice beginning in this one.
Not being pressured or postured away from the orbs either. Finally going to be taking away a lot of the available options here for the attack side of Crew on their eco.
Yeah, and you actually look at Crew's composition. Without the Molly shot combo or something like that, how are they going to stop Valen from just running forwards and taking orb every round? That's something to keep an eye on. We might see those kind of fights accelerated at some point. Kesnet tries to take ahead with that Sheriff he's taken into the round, but broadly speaking, unsuccessful there.
It's very spread out so far from Crew. They're poking, prodding, looking for the weaknesses in the defense of G2, but it's pretty rock solid so far.
And when you look at the maps that these first couple are going to be played out on, Icebox and Ascent, we've seen both of the teams that didn't pick the maps be good there, but recently get blown out by a certain team. I think there's great chances for both squads, and here comes Crew on the acceleration. G2 looking to hold on with that better weaponry.
Alan's just throwing up walls all over the place here, just trying to stop them in their tracks. A lot of damage being done to them, but already the shots are fired back and forth. 25 seconds left. Spike will need to be planted in the middle of all of this, and look at it, waves of that util long range just being lobbed into the fray, and every single straggler cleaned up here. Kesnet, surely you don't want to save the Sheriff. Got to make a go of things, and he does do so, but getting straight into the arms of G2.
No real damage done. And G2 are going to have some decent weaponry here. You can see how difficult it is for Crew to get into a good position unless they full commit to the site.
Yeah.
And so what you'll see when there's more utility online, rifles online, is a huge amount of aggression there. When they get to that barrier of the wall, at some point they'll pick a time in as the wall goes down to unload util and try to force the G2 players back. Because if they try this like posturing game around 410,
Hey, other me.
G2 are just good for it.
Real good read in terms of how they want to play here. Let's see what they do on the bonus round. Again, same plays. Valen just using Cascade, push forwards. Leaf as well is in a very deep position, just seeing the head. Well, Kesnet will return the favor. It's evened out at least 4-4. Jonah P is getting very aggro again. Same playbook.
Yeah, Melzer almost looked like he wanted to take a clash there, but Crew just choosing to pump the brakes again. With Leaf dead, G2 lose a lot of information around the map. That's why you see them pushed up on B, droning through mid, trying to mitigate the fact that their Killjoy went down and they no longer have that turret and alarm bot active. Crew are trying to mess with that, put the pressure on G2 a little, and go for a re-hit.
See how difficult this has been for them, but with both the walls eventually fading out and away. Gonna hit the go button, shock darts. Rebounding backwards, mosh pit a little bit delayed and late, so the plan's still going down, dropping down from the rafters. Icy! How was he managing that? Bringing it to the 1v2. Possibility here for Jonah P when he has that rifle in his hands, and even the flank positioning. Crew might not be aware of it.
If he'd gone up towards Belt, he would have had an amazing angle onto Klaus and Melzer. No way for him to know, though.
Klaus and Melzer slowed all the way down. They were doubled up for a time, but now just watching through all of it, and with time running short. However, this isn't planted for Melzer. A rebound here from the snake bite. Not enough to push him away. Jonah P sticking this one all the way through. But Melzer feeling the time pressure, tickling away at the back of his head. He just knew the time to strike was then and there.
Overall, though, that is a massively successful round for G2. Sticking Leaf into an aggressive spot, that's going to put a little bit of fear into Crew. They're going to have to clear that in some more of these rounds. And they've also done quite a bit of damage to the economy of Crew despite the round win. A silver line is for Crew. They have Thrash online, but look at that Outlaw pickup from Leaf. He knows the economy. 4 players will die to 1 shot.
I love this. Hold tab, look at the economy, look at the state of things, see that it's half armor online, why not?
The thing is though, he's looking for that pick underneath belt, doesn't even see a turret there. Everybody on Crew heading towards A. This Outlaw's not really going to be a factor.
Yeah, all the noise being made by Crew. They're not obfuscating it, are they? Now sending it forwards to the Thrash. Movement in play, just making sure that they can clear the left side of the side, even sending it back for round 2. And there's those waves being used. Klaus now with a plant up top, got to duck their head as he's going for it. Will get it online now into the post! Melzer way out into the open.
What is going on there?
And that is a bizarre one. Maybe thinking that the angle was potentially cleared here, but now it's going to be that player advantage for G2. Stuns up, and everybody dropping like flies around him. Shy and Klaus, so much more to do here with the Cove. Propped up, placed up. It doesn't matter how many kills you get. Safety in numbers, and G2 have enough of them.
What a horrendous round for Crew to fumble early on. Shy's got 3 and he's managed to survive, but that's diabolical. Crew want to try to set up in aggressive post-plant positions there and use the fact that Kesnit is playing Reyna. He can play on many different angles compared to what would be more normal. What is going on here? It doesn't really elucidate what was happening any better on the replay. I have no idea why Melzer was the only player trying to play forwards there.
Maybe cut up by the nanoswarm or something behind him. Yeah.
A bit of a communication problem, perhaps. And Crew have allowed G2 there to get up to a really nice lead. Everybody on the same page for G2, applying that pressure, then getting set up onto good angles. Would have been a 1-shot.
Just a bit shy off the mark. Shy taking space and scaling now up towards the A site. That's a little high ground perch.
Note that G2 are not expecting Crew to be just walking into A here. This is quite nice. The Crew are just doing the same thing again, really, taking a lot of space while still pressuring over towards B and giving themselves a backup option.
Yeah. Running through the simulations. A bit of a tap, forcing out that util, and pulling rotations away.
Yeah, they're headed over to B. They've spotted enough utility coming out of the defenders that they are pretty confident that Kesnit and Melzer have just opened up the entirety of the opposite side.
But it is a weak buy around, and with that comes a half armor. Leaf definitely ripped them to pieces and to shreds as they're trying to make their way over towards the B site now. G2 have also got the right to read on this.
Yes, but G2 have got to be worried about where Arena could be. Look at them clearing every single angle. They know that somebody's lurked up.
And they're playing this together as well. With Kesnit dealt with, now you can start to try and speed things up. A lot of util being expended onto the other side of things. Leaf also trying to keep that watchful eye onto the mid player. Spots it out. With Shy removed, no more danger.
He's looking so good.
Yeah.
Crew keeping enough money so that they can go for the full armor purchase. They don't want Leaf to be getting any more value out of the Outlaw. And Leaf takes the opportunity to upgrade to a Vandal in the meantime. And it's this cross over here that allowed the spike to drop. But even then, there were still chances for Crew to win the round. But Leaf managed to shut down Kesnit, the Reyna, who was in an aggressive position, and the mid lurk. I mean, he just did so much there. 9 and 2 to begin in the first 5 rounds for G2.
And timeout force for Crew. They're on the back foot right now. I mean, these repeated A hits where they're just trying to bait out these waves of util. Whatever the game plan is for G2, just flooding in, plant denial, and even their retake protocols as well. I mean, there's just not enough there for Crew to really stand the test, I suppose, when G2 just set their sights on that A site.
But they've also, I think, to give Crew a little bit of credit here, they can use this timeout to talk about the fact that they've now conditioned G2 to be expecting big A hits. So if they try to send, 2 people towards B or 2 people working mid, they will have options in the mid round to back out of A and hit somewhere else. I think G2 are playing pretty heavy on the over rotates towards A. And this is the kind of stuff that you can mess with a little.
I wouldn't be surprised as well if they just try and deal with this mid angle. Leaf has been taking liberties on that middle section of the map, especially with the Outlaw in his hands, which now with the rifle.
This is also another good round for G2 to be aggressive on defense. Coming out of a timeout, you know the Crew have got some idea of what they want to be doing. They took the timeout to talk about how to get back into the game. So you can shake them off their rhythm and go for something aggro.
Let's see what's been cooked up here. The back end here, the timeout again. It's nothing to stop them from just vacuuming up every single orb available to them. This is many angles to account for. G2, I mean, that's essentially a triple face if they chose to face it like that, but the belt angle, when it's locked off, Melza now will have to try and pick up the pieces into this round. Maybe he can get something going over towards B, but a lot to account for.
The timing on B.
A lot happening across the map. Yeah, the timing on B. Drone into mid. Melza, if he catches a kill, could be everything.
Shy is just soaking up so much pressure and engagement towards the middle of the map. He's opened up this avenue for Melza, but the problem is Melza didn't clear yellow.
No.
So now there's so many players in weird spots.
And they can just hear the footsteps running, so it gives Melza that perfect opportunity and timing. He has to have caught this, though, that Jonah P hasn't been cleared out towards it. He thinks he can catch a timing, thinking it was a solo player. Removed. Vulnerable up. And Melza, I mean, he just writes his own will there, doesn't he, with that one. Plant still coming down. At least the lockdown clearing away for most of it. G2. Brains scrambled in the middle of this one. And the players still not expecting all of these positions. Ratty plays abound, but it works. It's going to get Crew potentially over the line, assuming that Trent can't do the most in this spot. A tap. Util forced in heat with the swing. And that acknowledgement.
Very important round for Crew to get done, especially considering they were in a 4v5 to start this one off. Taking notes from Baby Bay's super team earlier on, I think. Yeah. But yeah, that round was so messy from a macro perspective because, but the general idea of putting pressure A in the early round and then having two lurks, and the lurks being aggressive. Shy tried to lurk through mid and ended up drawing tons of attention towards himself, even forced out the Thrash to clear him through Tube, and that opened up Melza. So it's like I said, coming out of the timeout, using the A conditioning to create space elsewhere. And again, this knife, immediately 4 players start leaning towards A for G2. Can Crew expose that by getting the mid and B lurks going?
Orb up, angle, cut off and away. Jonah P will rattle a few bullets forwards. Back to A. Seems to be the game plan. Crew will offload that ult with the no command now, emanating out.
There's 4 players here.
And it does mean that there's going to be no util hit for the plant. And now G2, they choose to take it with that brute force. Facing with the players, it's a high-low triple face again. In through the back of the side and all the footsteps heard. Shy shut down, Melza striking from behind, but at this point too little too late.
That round reminds me exactly of what we were seeing G2 do to Cloud9, where they don't take 1v1 fights. As much as they can avoid them, they're going to shut down star players by double swinging them, triple swinging them, making sure there is no opportunity there for a player on Crew to have a hero moment.
That is so damn proactive from G2. In fact, this whole map so far feels like it's been a name of their game.
I mean, they bait Crew in. They have 4 players there, and then they swing as soon as they anticipate people trying to take backside control.
And I think it's so unexpected as well. The usual game plan, I mean, G2 notice, Crew notice, playing for the plant denial, sending in the util to stop it from even being planted in the first place, try and play retake maybe, but G2 flooding in. No util available to them here. New round. It's 5-2. Such a heavy lead for G2 still.
Yeah, and it's such a heavy lead when you take into account the ultimate situation as well. Crew are going to start trying to build back up. They got the Thrash online. Leave. Trying to give away as little as possible. But does know that Shy crossed, and so he's going to break that turret. But I mean, look at this. G2's retake ultimates are just kind of unbelievably good.
And the pit's offloaded nice and early. Just from those signs of life out towards the B side. It does give opportunities for Crew. If they wanted to start lurking and working their way around the extremities here of the pit, but just Kesnet taking a poke and a sniff of things, going to be backing away.
One of G2's biggest strengths is that Valorant's been able to read where these hits are coming. And the problem is Crew have almost always been going for re-hits. The space that they take, they pause, and then they continue. This time they've rotated, ping-ponged across the map back towards A.
Shy is being spotted with a knife being thrown though deep into the backside of A.
30 seconds
Blizzard.
left.
Nice and easy path now for Crew, even with this ult being used. Okay, Viper's fit. This is a halfway round for Crew, but maybe just feeling like they have to use ults into this one to convert it. Already.
This completely blocks where you would want to use the Killjoy lockdown for, so instead Leaf has to get creative with it.
And what's the next layer of it? Crew, was that a nade that just missed, man? I mean, it sailed right past.
Okay, where was that one going?
Not too sure, but you have to respect this ult now. And Jonah P Might just be flooded right back into him with the sightline. Angle, watch Kesnet. There's good awareness there with a jump spot at least, but now you see it with the Thrash being used and utilized. Sent forwards and flying. Cove needs to be brought down here with a shot. Fire, Trent, half, already onto the defuse. Maybe a win come for them. But it's coming down to the wire with the time ticking away. Jonah! Where's he pulling this from? What a shot!
That's outrageous!
Get out of here!
That's so well done by G2, the early half, and Leaf's Outlaw. They must have more kills with the Outlaw in this map than half of the players do using any weapon they would choose.
He's 14 and 4.
He's absolutely dominating. The consistency with the shots he's hitting, making it look like he's never in a spot where he really needs to reload. Just picking people off, securing that space, and closing out a player disadvantage retake there, where Crew got themselves, honestly, in a really nice position. Remember that it was Leaf's lockdown that even got them into that point and allowed them to clear pit.
Yeah.
Very well done, well navigated, a dangerous, anti-eco.
It's a second timeout being used by Crew in the first half, and you can feel it. Pressure's mounting on this one. This is Crew's map pick. They took G2 to Icebox, despite how G2 have been looking on this map recently.
And I kind of want to dig into that a little more, because I think people will remember, just because it was so recent, that G2 got destroyed by Loud here. But that was so bizarre. That was unexpected. G2 have otherwise been looking excellent on this map. It's a really interesting composition that they have. And some of the ways in which the rounds were working, like Les winning multiple 1v2s, clutches, you just don't expect to see that again. But Ascent is kind of the same story. Again, you think about the next map coming up, that's G2's pick. Crew have been really good there too. They just got bought by Leviathan.
Yeah.
So I think we've got a competitive series here. If Crew can show us some more of that fragging, which has defined their run so far. Because you do not expect Kesnet to be at the bottom of the scoreboard, 2 and 8, getting completely shut down.
It's so damn unusual.
And when he's playing Reyna, he's got to be getting the fight.
Hell of a brawl occurring, and yet taking a fight to him. It's Melzer through and through. Hunter's Fury seeking to offset the disadvantage that now G2 are staring themselves down. And it is a kill. It is some damage. But it's a 2v4.
Toxin screen down.
Plant down. Committed. Kesnet. He's going to go down, and that is that prior damage done. 2 versus 3 now for G2. Setting it forwards with the drone. Trent trying to get some eyes onto any sort of target, but everybody ducked away. Knife out. Might be regretting it. No! It's Leaf. The reactions from this guy off the charts right now with Melzer shut down. More than winnable, and this could be heartbreak for Crew. All set up nicely for the round winners. G2 are stealing it away. Trent delivering that final blow. They just can't be stopped.
G2 can do no wrong. And Leaf, it feels, is at the forefront. Trent gets 3 in the round, but the kills from Leaf, I thought, were just, there was no way he was going to be able to pull that one out. Yeah. And he continues to have major impact in every single round. It's ridiculous what we're watching. Crew keep getting themselves in nice spots. They got so many entries. This was a 5v2. They simply can't lose here, G2. Taking away a 2v5 in that spot just shouldn't be happening.
Stars aligning for some of the moments there in that round, but honestly, no discredit to G2. These guys are popping off.
Still, G2 constantly stealing the ult orb every single round over towards A.
I mean, just hard abuse of Crew's comp, right?
Yeah.
Knowing that they've got nothing to push the back. Just that A avenue.
It's not like normally you could try to abuse that with a shock molly, or you can try to updraft the jet. They don't have either.
Poison orb emitting.
Done their homework. It's evident in the round differential so far, 7-2.
Toxins going up.
In a match really where the stakes could never be higher. Jonah P. That's a nice punish. Leaf onto the corner here. Jonah P's being swarmed with the flash. The Lear, too much to overcome. Didn't know which way to look here. Another advantage situation for Crew.
Exactly, a 5v3 this time.
Scanning ahead.
Can Crew convert at least this one?
Gonna have to. Ensure the areas are accounted for here, but this is proactivity by Crew that's being called. You can see it pressing forwards and away, but I mean, he's just way ahead of the curve still. Land as well in an unorthodox spot and position, forcing out the wider fights, and respect has to be shown here by Icy. Realizing it's given up here. This time, the confidence is back for Crew.
Yeah, that's a bit better. Forced confidence. Somebody making the call and everyone swinging together. The call being made there, even when the Heat looked like he was a little less coordinated with the rest of the team, they did all swing left side of yellow, and then the others tuck back in to throw utility at the spike and stop the defuse from happening.
My ultimate is ready.
They're gonna need more rounds like that, where they can barrel over people early and then still convert. The aggression, finding those timings to put the pressure on G2, that's what Crew has been doing so well. I was expecting aggressive post plants. They just haven't been able to get into those spots. 4 players again on A from G2. They've been doing this so often, and Leaf again up here.
Yep, high up into the rafters, firing all the way, but everybody blinded up and they are being eviscerated. There's no remorse from G2. None in the slightest. If you opt into the fight, G2 will go pound for pound.
Last round before the switch.
The level of prep work that G2 have showcased in their game against C9 and now here in their game against Crew, it's awesome to watch. They've 4-player stacked A so often, and that has been the right read for this match. And then also they've got an extra layer if you choose to try the route out, Leaf. It's so sick what they're demonstrating here.
Yeah.
They want to get back to another international event. It's been so long.
Over 2 years for this G2 squad and core. Reykjavik 2022 is the last time these teams, the last time that G2 ended up qualifying for a tier 1 international event.
They had to make their way back through Ascension. Prove that they were good enough to hang back at the top level, despite the fact they've already been the representatives of North America before, as you were saying. Right here. This is the kind of level you want to see from these guys. Right here. But Crew, another round here, and a fight in mid. Kesnit shut down again.
Man, this is the G2 playbook. We were seeing it the other day against Cloud9.
Wow, what a read there, though. They have 4 players stacked A in the previous round, and then 3 players looking to re-clear mid at the minute mark here. Just the reads on what Crew are going for are absolutely immaculate. I feel like the ults have barely even been a factor. It's more to do with them just having the players in the perfect spot every time.
Look at it, as soon as the pit comes down, it's a reckoning. Pushing them back and away. There's golden beams that'll point them directly towards the right targets here, but he needs to do a bit more of that. Thrash forwards, pound for pound, equalizing on either side here, but still trying to dominate these angles. And it is 3v3. Crew, they got to convert this one. It's almost necessary to stand a chance in this map. Leaf forwards now, up onto the angles, onto the edge of the molly. Damage being done to a multitude of targets. Still with that ult available, Leaf not in a safe enough position to use it. Waiting for it with a wingman. Forwards and firing, off and away. Final bullet does it, but Leaf in a 1v1. Heat shuts him down.
So Crew take their own player disadvantage round, winning the 3v5 to pull things to 4 rounds in favor of Crew. At the half, G2 have been dominant here on Icebox. Crew's map pick and Crew sent reeling. Is that going to be a confidence knock? Is it going to affect them going later on? We've seen a bit of a recovery, but mate, Leafs at 20 kills at the half.
Yeah, it's absolutely absurd. Well, listen, IC also had an incredible game against Cloud9 yesterday, and we spoke to him about his performance leading into this match.
For me, playoffs is important because obviously I want to prove myself as a rookie. This is my first year in the league, and I want to show what I'm able to do. Like all the hard work I've put in, I want to be able to show that on the big stage, and I think we're able to do that going to these next games.
From that, IC definitely proving that the hard work that G2's been putting in has been working out. A 4-round difference, 8-4 half on the map pick of Crew. Preparation being key to that. And it doesn't hurt, I guess, that Leaf, sitting at 20 and 7 on the Killjoy.
Yeah, and so many of those kills, though, were also prep-based. Like just having a good read that there was a mid-lurker that he needed to watch out for. Having a good read on the economy and getting easier kills with the Outlaw. Farming people with either no armor or half armor. Leaf really using his brain rather than his brawn in terms of getting up to the top of the scoreboard, I think. 8-4. What an opening for G2.
Kesnit sitting at 3 and 11, bottom of the scoreboard for his team.
And one of the things to point out is that I think the Reyna has more angles that they can fight on the defense side that might be unexpected. They're going to be able to try to do what QCK did against G2, hold their ground, disrespect the Dizzy recon kind of clearance, and try to continue fighting. And I think there's still chances here for Crew's game plan to work. It's just that they have a large deficit at the half.
We'll start with a pistol round, though. Anything like that, get a few rounds on the board as well to maybe equalize it up in the map. Remember the pressure, remember the stakes. You win here, you're sent your ticket booked for Shanghai. Massively important for both of these teams.
The Crew have got 3 players over towards B at the start of the round, including where Kesnit is positioned. That's the player that I'm going to be keeping an eye on in the minimap, because wherever Kesnit is, surely that's the area they're looking to fight over. It's a weaker A side.
Toxin screen down.
Once more, looking like Valen's got the right read. And they threw a cascade over towards mid to block off the turret. And now Heat is worried about that.
They're so worried about a mid lurk. Now with the util flying forward, start of the flash. No one to receive it, of course. Shy was just playing a very passive angle on top screen. He's going to retreat to the rest of his team. Nothing really to deny the plan either, not for this pistol round. It's going to have to be that full retake. G2, though, look at this space and positioning from them. Valen is getting ready to make a play of his own. It's a deep cascade that's going to be cutting off the rafters angle. Making it difficult for Crew now. They can only really exit out of the one side, but they're giving a lot of space now with a shot dart flying forwards. Damage softening him, all up for Valen. The time to strike is nigh. Wingman pushing forwards, advancing! The double connection. Doesn't matter if it's high-low. Shy is left alone. 1v3.
Team 8.
What a sick round by G2. That is a gorgeous pistol. Disguising the fact that they were heading A by throwing that cascade over towards Boiler, and that pulled a weak site into an undefendable site.
Yeah.
There were 2 players over towards A at the start, and that one cascade from Valen, messing with the defender's perspective, made this a free site for them. The high tide then stopped any kind of a flood attempt. And did you see what we had there as well? Following the Wingman out with the stun. Yep. Inside a smoke.
Nice. It's too nice.
Sick micro plays from G2 to set themselves up for advantages, and 9-4. With the momentum, with starting to build up more of the ultimates if they're able to secure this eco. It's looking great for the beginning to steal a map pick.
Amazing preparation. Look at this. I mean, Heat jiggling the corner, spotted out on the ropes. He didn't see anything, but the first initial spot pays for it with his life. Drone's going to be sending them forwards and flying here. Risks to be taken by Crew. They're going for a heavy and fast flank out through B, but isn't really going to be accounting to much. Leaf is seeking to contain, spots a number of players as well. He's going to be calling this for the rest of his team now to just really accelerate.
It's only Melza that sticks around on the flank. The others trying to combine with Shy. But 2 Sheriffs on Kesnit Klaus, this would have to be unhuman.
It's really the only chance the Crew have. The time's against them. The util, it's bountiful right now for G2.
Look how much respect their Crew give that little combo, even though everybody on G2 is holding passively.
And with that, the time starts to tick steadily and running short. Aim, snappy, on point from absolutely everybody here. It's all clinical from G2. 10-4, flawless as we're heading into the bonus round for this team.
Icy 1 away from getting Thrash online. I mean, this just looks like an avalanche right now. The Crew have no chance of stopping. It would take something really special for this to be turned around. At least gone for the Outlaw, or at least thinking about it already. And look at this. The difference in terms of how the teams are reading each other could not be more obvious with just this round. You know, Heat thinks if he doesn't hear any kind of attacking utility or footsteps over towards A, G2 are not going to be there, but they're kind of late contact taking this area of the map. All right, so space potentially taken over towards the A side so that Icy could get a Thrash online, or are they going to use that for post-ban?
John P. Oh, mistiming it with a cascade. He's just trying to slip through the net, but he's the one who gets caught.
All right, so 1 mistake for G2. That's, we haven't seen too many of them.
Certainly haven't. Shock darts flying forwards here from Trinalise. Forces a preliminary pop there of the Nana Swarm. Wingman now going to be trying to put this plan down, denied and out. And it is followed up and followed through. damage being done with these guns. We're backing away, watching for the mid-angle. It's a game of timings, and Leaf wins it out. 2 versus 2. With a minute on the clock, plenty of time to work with for G2. It's Crew being left to stew.
Yeah, and Crew have also lost information, I think, towards the spike. Kesnet may have just had an angle on it there over towards screens. And Kesnet and Melza would probably like to double up here. Has Kesnet realized that the spike is still down? He at least spots Leaf.
Oh. That's going to give them the indicator, but a high tide, a bit of a safety
30
barrier
seconds left.
up. Along with the smokes, using it to reposition here. You can see Crew still doubled up, hoping that they would play that position. They're not finding any G2 players. Both teams just trying to get the right read on things, not giving too much away, but a body spotted and out and open. Leaf can't be doing this to a man. Opponent's rank conversion will be the nail in the coffin, and it's up to Kesnet to put a stop to it with only 5 bullets left. What can he do? Leaf's out forwards. Heal online, reload forwards, but again, time ticking away. Not planning for him, a tap. Valen forced forwards and Alpha wins the fight anyway. It's inevitable at this point for G2.
Every single situation is going their way. Even when Crew have chances to push it across the line, we're not seeing that individual gunfire advantage or the timing's working for them. Literally everything. I mean, Leaf with the timing down mid, Valen winning the 1v1 towards the end of the round. All of the small moments, everything going the way of G2. And that on top of, that just the cherry on top of, beautiful preparation that they've got coming into this game.
It's making all the difference.
It's 5 Guardians for Crew.
Yeah, and this is a desperate play if I've ever seen one. We're trying to push back. The A take, a bit of a brute force play. Melza, the sole defender. Sitting nice and pretty onto the B side for now, but might find that his position is quickly worked upon, especially with the Thrash to lead the charge. Once more, he's going to carve out a nice little path. Pretty here, avoiding the detainment. Melza stepping back and away. He's going to be making the call for his team here. There's a lot of noise being made. It is being followed by Crew. They have players. How are they going to be denying this one? It's a snake bite, a bit of spam, a few bullets. Will it be enough? Not quite. Plant now down. Kills collected. Crew. They're the ones trying to find that advantage, but shutting them all down. Evened out 2 versus 2. It's up to Heat and Shy.
Shy's
to make
so
the
far
difference. Heat. He's taking matters into his own hands, and you're right. With Shy being so far away.
Trent's panicking now. He's got to be thinking about the flank. Shy has just taken so long. Why would he be peeking from the same position as Heat? Surely they would have doubled up if they were there together.
Uncertainty! And yet still, it's Trent who wins it out.
It's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. Every situation, every moment, going the way of G2.
On a swivel in the 1v1 there. Like you said, Trent has no clue as to where the next player is going to be. It doesn't make sense why Heat would be pressing the advantage like that when there's no player next to him.
Yeah, you just, the longer the time goes there, the more you're thinking, where is this guy? He's got to be coming on some kind of long flank route for him to be this late. And Trent just finds the timing there perfectly and hits the shot.
On the cusp now for G2. One more round to get a nice start and lead. But there it is, an early snake bite. Melza, he's eager to take the fight, and he does take the first blood away, at least into this round. Maybe some breathing room. Jump spot, no punish. At least catching Jonah P. Overextended himself just ever so slightly.
Look how active these Crew players are being over towards mid. They're grouping up 4 players in mid instead of trying to spread out across the map. They're just following noise, trying to make exploitative plays because they're 8 rounds down. And Valen's been playing him the whole time, just as he was yesterday.
Crew do have that advantage in terms of the players. A lot of noise being made now. IG2, Valen just seeking to really press forwards once more. Kesnet though, making sure to follow through and up onto the Thrash. Dizzy over and around. We'll get the connection, but there's no plans online, so there's no real chances for Leaf in this one. Crew, they do buy themselves that breathing room, at least into the map.
Crew had a phenomenal comeback against LATAM on the defense side of Breeze, I believe it was. But this is just, it feels like way too much. Yeah. Especially with how well G2 have been playing. We're gonna see G2 here knocked down onto an eco round. So chances for Crew to build up economy, buffers, confidence. But at some point here, the G2 ults are gonna come online and there's gonna be some very difficult hits to stop.
Placing swarm grenade.
It's the trouble, right? G2, they just need the one round.
Look how nice that lineup is as well.
He's been doing that a lot.
Yeah, we've seen some great ones from him.
And G2, it's always the rounds that you count them out in. It's always the way when you think the money's running tight. And this is really it now. It's turned on its head. Any sort of safety net, any sort of buffer the Crew might have felt like they've earned themselves. It's all denied and ripped away. And there's one left to stand against it. Melter against 4 players of G2. They've come prepped, they've come ready. The ults are online, fully committed it. Inevitable is the word that comes to mind once again here for this team. This map should be their playground. One obstacle removed, but not the next. With Valen's last final blow, that's the opening map going away at G2.
I did not think we'd be here so quickly. A 13-5, absolute ridiculous domination. G2 coming in with immaculate prep, the players hitting, Leaf finding huge impact, Valen as well, having some awesome impact, and I think fitting that he closes it out. And they take this map win and one step closer to booking that ticket to Shanghai. It's been such a long time since we've seen the core of this team representing at an international event. And it looked slow at the beginning of this year, much slower than I think a lot of people were expecting, but the roster moves that both of these teams made have been successful, and I think for G2, we're just seeing that at its peak now.
Oh yeah. They're coming alive, I think, preparation being the key, but also all the players just hitting on top of it. They set themselves up nicely with this opening map one. We'll be stepping away for just a moment. Of course, the analyst desk and GP are going to be breaking it all down.
Excuse me, would you mind taking a picture of us?
Oh, no problem.
Thanks.
Ooh, yes, problem. You need Verizon. Trade in that old thing and get a new iPhone 15 Pro with tons of storage, so you can take all the pics. So many selfies.
A preposterous amount of panos!
That means panoramic. And as many portraits of me as your heart desires.
How about none?
None, yeah, none feels right.
Trade in any iPhone in any condition and get iPhone 15 Pro on us. Only on Verizon.
Red Bull gives you wings.